How to speak like a native speaker. Hey everyone, so I developed this video about 5 steps to speaking like a native speaker. Step 1. Stop trying to speak like a native speaker. You know, one of the most common questions that I get from university students is basically, how do you speak like a native speaker? And it's very difficult to copy or imitate what a native speaker sounds like. I'll give you an example. My father has been living in Canada for almost 40 years. He left Vietnam when he was 26 years old, and he spent almost 40 years living in Canada. He can speak Cantonese, Mandarin, Vietnamese, and English all fluently, but if you listen to his voice when he's speaking in English, it doesn't sound exactly the same way as mine. Step 2. What is fluency? Well, basically, fluency is the ability to express, to articulate your ideas in the language that you are learning. When I speak in Vietnamese, I often need to think in English and then translate the words into Vietnamese and then express and then also organize it into a sentence grammatically and then say it aloud. Now this takes 2 steps. Basically I'm thinking it in my native language and then translating it into the language that I'm trying to speak in. Step 3. Focus on the foundation. Now, I know a lot of people want to learn how to speak English fluently in a short amount of time, but what they don't realize is that learning a language is like building a house. So you need to start with your foundation, which is the core of your language. When you have a solid foundation, which is the beginner level language, for example, how are you? Do you like something? Or what do you do in your free time? This is the beginner core language. Yes? And so when you've finally mastered and built a strong core, you're ready for the next level, which is the intermediate level vocabulary. And the intermediate level vocabulary, you can imagine, is like the walls of your house. Now, when you build the walls of your house, it's going to be the more daily conversations that you have with your friends. For example, do you want to go to the movies today? Oh, what film is playing? What about this movie? It's a horror movie about so-and-so and this happens in the movie, and so I really want to see it. The intermediate level conversation is more focused around having a solid conversation between 2 people. Now the final step is the advanced level communication, which is basically the interior design of your house. So let's say you're an engineer and you need to learn the vocabulary of an engineer. Well, you'll design your interior rooms with engineer vocabulary. Or if you're an artist or a photographer, you'll design the interior rooms with vocabulary that is related to photography. For example, aperture, shutter speed, ISO. So this is vocabulary that you will learn because these are part of your interests or part of your work or your day-to-day life. Step 4. Step 4 is basically to be patient and don't bite off more than you can chew. Now, one of the most common mistakes of anybody that's learning the language is that they always want to learn the language as soon as they can. They want to spend as little amount of time as they can and put in the least amount of effort. And so they will try to learn intermediate or advanced level vocabulary or reading when their reading and vocabulary level is at the beginner level. So what I suggest to people is to take things step by step. If you're a beginner level learner, language learner, then focus on beginner level vocabulary, focus on beginner level reading and listening even. It doesn't mean that you can't learn intermediate level words, but try to master, like I said, build a strong foundation in the beginner level and slowly pick at words that are in the intermediate level that is more related to your own day-to-day conversations. And likewise, if you're learning intermediate level communication, then don't try to push yourself to learn vocabulary that is in the advanced level area. Because if you don't use the conversation in your day-to-day life, then you won't remember the vocabulary unless you practice it day in and day out. Finally, we have step 5, which is basically to think in that language that you want to learn. Now, when I speak Vietnamese, I have learned the basic level vocabulary and sentences that I need to use in my day-to-day life. For example, how are you today, or what are you doing, or where do you want to go? I'm able to think in that language without having to take that step of thinking it in my native language, and I'm able to translate it instantly and speak it normally like a fluent speaker. Now, this takes a lot of practice and it takes a lot of time, and most importantly, you need to be practicing it when you're not even doing anything. For example, when I'm commuting to work, or if I'm waiting for a friend, I'll often try to think about conversations or phrases that I can practice speaking by myself. So try your best to think in the language that you want to learn, and think about phrases or topics, conversation topics that you want to practice if you meet somebody for the first time. So this is a video about what I believe that people learning English should focus on when they're trying to learn how to speak English. I will create more video content in the future, so hopefully you found my video interesting and you'll follow and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye.